All right, everybody. My name is Jacklyn Araque, and this is Task List D, Section D15, D18, and D19. This is on, I believe, punishment. So let's get started. And if you have any questions, please feel free to jump in and stop. And we hopefully will have a nice group discussion tonight. So let's go. So let me start with our disclaimer. The ABA Exams Academy Study Group was created by and for students to earn their BCBA, BCABA certifications. Most of the leaders and participants are not BCBA, BCABA at this time. These meetings are meant to have active discussions, to collaborate, ask questions, and provide helpful suggestions to better understand the BACB 4th edition task list concepts. Due to this, it is important to know that all viewers and participants are responsible to verify the accuracy of the information being provided in order to successfully prepare for the BCBA, BCABA exam. Our ethical considerations are refrain from sharing any BCBA, BCABA test questions, refrain from sharing any paid resources or specific identifiable client information. During these meetings, if sharing any open resources, peer review articles, or books, please make sure to provide proper credit to the author. Our ABA Exam Academy Zoom guidelines are: we are recording this Zoom. If you do not wish to come out in camera, remember to turn off your camera. Remember to mute your microphones if you are not speaking. Allow the leader and all participants a turn to speak without interruptions. Please be respectful of others and refrain from using any inappropriate language throughout the entire meeting time. Remember to wait until the questions and answer choices are read to give the answer. And please, let's have fun tonight. It's Friday night. Let's have fun, guys. And I'm just going to keep saying it's Friday. Let's have fun. So let's start. Okay. So what is a punisher? It is a stimulus change immediately following a response, and it decreases the future frequency of that type of behavior in similar conditions. So does anybody know what the symbol for punishment is?
The SP something?
SP. SP.
I don't.
I believe.
Is
I
that
believe.
it? I'm saying.
Huh?
I'm asking. Is that it?
I believe it's SDP.
Okay.
Anybody can confirm? Yes, no?
Yes, SDP.
SDP, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so when we're talking about punishment, just like when we talk about reinforcers, we have two types. Can anybody name off our two types?
Positive and negative.
Positive and negative. And I listened to a YouTube video one time, and how the gentleman described it is we think of positive and negative as mathematical. So one has a plus and one has a negative. So our positive has a plus and our negative has a negative. And what we do is our plus means to add. So let's move that. Okay. We're going to yeah, okay, so I'm sorry. Had a brain fart there. Okay, so like I said, we are going to add for positive punishment, add something to decrease the behavior. And then when we have negative punishment, we are going to remove something to decrease the behavior. Anybody agree, disagree? Nay, nay.
Agree.
Agree. Thank you. All right. We're going to move to slide 4. Okay, we have what we called unconditioned and conditioned punishments or punishers. Can anybody describe an unconditioned punisher? Everybody can throw out their answers. I'm free. Just go and answer.
It's unlearned, right? Is it?
Yep. Unconditioned is unlearned. Anybody else? How about conditioned?
That's learned.
That is learned.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that didn't come out how I want it. Hold on one second. Excuse me 1 second. Let me remove this. Undo what I just did. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so an unconditioned punisher is a stimulus change that decreases the frequency of any behavior that immediately precedes it. It is an AKA for a primary punisher, unlearned punisher, or we use UCPs. It's not learned, it has no learning history, and it's a product of I always say this wrong, philology. Anybody can correct me there. I say. Go ahead, Jennifer.
I don't know. I'm good. I'm phylogeny. I don't know.
But yeah, phylogeny. Okay, thank you. I always say it wrong, so got a list here. It takes me a minute. Okay, conditioned punishers are a previously stimulus or natural stimulus that was functioned as a punisher because it was paired with something prior. So we call these our secondary punishers, our learned punishers, or CPSs. They are products of ontology. I think that's
ontogeny.
Ontogeny. Thank you, Bod. Appreciate it.
It took me a long time to get them too. I was like,
yeah, that's going to be a hard one, for me to say that. Thank God our test is not a vocal one.
Right.
Alrighty. Okay, so let's identify some punishers. In Page Cooper 345, 346. This is part of your task list D15. We use punishment when our problem behaviors are produce serious harm and must be suppressed quickly. We use reinforcement-based treatments have no that have excuse me, I apologize, that are socially acceptable levels to use these with these problem behaviors. I apologize, I'm tripping over myself today. And the reinforcer must maintain the problem behavior that cannot be identified or withheld. How we do our punishers are just like our reinforcers. We use something called a punishment assessment. Instead of with our reinforcer assessment, where we're taking data on what the child likes, what the child likes to, what items they like to do, play with. Now we're taking data on what they don't like. We're measuring negative verbalization, avoidance movements, escape attempts, anything that's going to show what would be an effective punisher for them. Okay, so how do we use a punisher? We use the most effective punisher, just like our reinforcements. We're going to use the most effective punisher. We are also going to vary our punishers throughout, our trials. We're going to deliver the punisher at the beginning of the behavior sequence. We're also going to punish every instance of the behavior that's initial. After we start doing that continuously punishing, what we're going to do is we're going to gradually shift to an intermediate schedule of punishment. Just like our intermediate schedule of reinforcement, now we're going to be doing the opposite. We're going to shift to intermediate schedules of punishment. We're going to suppress the punishment and use differential reinforcement or extinction or any type of antecedent interventions. Now, we're also going to monitor and watch for our unwanted side effects, and we're going to graph and record and evaluate our data. Okay, ethical considerations when using punishment. Everybody should know, because we are analysts, reinforcement always trumps punishment. Studies have shown that reinforcement has always been better than punishment. So you're going to want to watch out, and of course we're going to use a reinforcement when we do punishment procedures or supplement them as well. But we want to make sure that we don't remove reinforcers like anything that has to do with their food or water or things like that. So we got to watch out what type of reinforcers we're going to be removing. Our first thing is to do no harm. we cannot harm our clients. So threats, they are not punishment, not at all, because we're not seeing a consequence in them. It's kind of immediate. And then we're also going to use the least restrictive alternative. So in anything that we do, we have to use the least restrictive alternative, least restrictive environment. And that goes with reinforcement. That also goes with our punishments. Anybody want to throw in anything there?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. I know I'm talking pretty fast. It's been a day, but I'm going to slow it down right here. Okay. So now positive punishment versus negative punishment. I need you guys to tell me what of our 5 positive punishment types. I just gave you the number, how many there are. 5.
Response blocking. Is that?
We have response blocking. What else?
Reprimand.
Mhm.
Reprimand.
Contingent exercise.
Exercise.
Let's see. So if we
What
go
did
in
we say?
order,
Blocking.
so it's Roser. So
Yeah, Rosa.
Yep. Reprimand, overcorrection, shock,
Mhm.
contingent
Shock.
exercise, and then there's one more.
Response blocking. That was what was the first one? Then response blocking, right?
Yeah, if we go in order, so ours is reprimand, O is overcorrection,
Right.
and then S is shock.
Right. There we go. We missed the shock one.
Okay, contingent exercise, and then response blocking.
There you go. Good job. Awesome, guys. We have reprimand, overcorrection. Woo, let me not pull that one yet. Okay, so what are our 2 types of overcorrection?
Restitutional, right?
Yep.
Restitutional and
Positive practice.
positive practice overcorrection. There we go. Okay, we have shock. And I put contingent electric stimulation because in the Cooper book, that's how they have it down as. So I thought it would be good for us to know, just in case, you never know, it is on the quiz anytime. If you see contingent electric stimulation, think shock. Okay.
That would be an AKA?
You know what? I would consider it an AKA.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. We got exercise and we got response block. Okay. Now, what are our 2 negative punishments?
Time out. Is that one? Is time out?
It is one, but I'm thinking more
Response cost.
Yeah, response. Okay.
yes. Okay, so yes, we do have timeout and we do have response costs. I'm thinking more of I'm gonna give it to you because you probably
Escape.
won't. Escape. There you go.
And
Avoid.
Avoidance. There we go.
Oh,
I'm like escape and out.
Thank you, Yenny, for
That's
saying
part of the
that.
prompt anyway, Ahmad.
Awesome, guys. That was it. Escape and avoidance. So can anybody describe to me can any of you guys describe what these are? Like, okay, first example, a reprimand. Okay, so how I've always taught a reprimand is no with a stern voice. We don't do that. Okay, so that's my example of a reprimand. Can anybody give me an example of overcorrection, whether it's restitutional or positive practice?
So for the first one, it's pretty much that if you happen to, let's say you knock down a gallon of milk, so not only you will use a mop to, clean the house, they probably end up making you like do dishes or something else as well.
Right.
So you're trying to restore the environment
back to
then you found it.
right, exactly. Great example. Anybody want to try on positive practice?
Is this the one that you have to repeat the same thing over again? So, for example, if they slam the door, then you would have them close the door nicely, let's say 10 times until they get it right.
Yep, I think that's a good one. Nice one, Damie.
Oh, thanks.
Welcome, by the way. Also, very good example, both ladies. Thank you so much. Okay, so shock. We all know what shock is, right?
Yes.
Okay. So for those who don't know, shock is if okay, so how I always thought of shock, and I was surprised to know that they even still do this, but I guess they do, is that when you if you guys ever seen the movie Ghostbusters, in the first like 20 seconds, they have a scene where he's sitting with the two psychics or whatever, and the guy has a card up and he says, "What's behind this card? Tell me what you see." And the guy says, "Oh, I see a star." And he shocks him because it's the incorrect answer. Actually, it's actually the right answer, but that's how I always thought of shock when I think of that. I think of that scene. So so there goes my example of shock. Exercise. Anybody want to give an example of exercise? Now we know what exercise is. It's movement of the body, but give an example of using it as a punishment.
It really has nothing to do with
about shock.
the behavior.
I'm pretty.
Is it like do 20 push-ups kind of thing?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with like what the behavior the
Yeah,
person
it's like the
actually
crime
did.
doesn't fit the punishment pretty much.
Right.
Exactly.
What
Okay.
a coach would do.
What? Say that again. I'm sorry.
Like coaches do that, like like I don't know, if football players don't do what they're supposed to do, then they have to drop down and give 50 push-ups or something.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Right. If they miss a block, it has nothing to do with missing the block, but I still want you to do the push-ups. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Exactly. Great, guys. And then a response block.
It's you pretty much blocking the individual from contacting the reinforcement.
Exactly.
Like if they're trying to do pica, eat something that they're not supposed to, you would block that. Is that it? Kind of it?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
let's say if a kid was going to put if a kid's like bite their fingers, or I mean like their nails, so you can like block their mouth. They can attempt to put their fingers close to their mouth, but they won't actually like get to contact the actual finger.
Right.
Okay.
Or just
Okay.
if they're about to hit themselves, okay, we're gonna block the hit, things like that. Great, guys, great examples. Escape. We know what escape is. Can we, or do we need to discuss it? I think we should.
I think so too.
All right, let's discuss escape. Go for it, guys. Anybody?
So the way I think of escape is like you already in it. So one example that pretty much always like stood out to me is like you are in traffic. So you currently in traffic,
Okay.
and you happen to be like, all right, I'm in traffic, I'm gonna try to go a different route. Or if you are in a car, they're playing loud, crappy music you don't like, you can turn down the volume to escape that sound.
Great.
I think of it like if you're trying to get your client to get dressed and he takes off running because he doesn't want to put the shirt on.
Right.
Like he's escaping the behavior of getting dressed.
Right. That is a great example. Who was that?
But those aren't negative punishments. Those are what people do to escape something that they are avoiding or trying to get away with. Hold
on 1 second.
So when we're talking about escape, so escape and avoidance. So escape, you are already in it. Avoiding, you're not in it. You're just avoiding it.
But is that an escape like a negative punishment? Because negative punishment is taking something away that would cause you to feel bad. Like, for example, I don't know, you're not behaving well, so you lose something. that would be a removal of something that gives you punishment, that reduces your behavior.
Yeah, it reduces your behavior in the future. That's punishment.
Right, but that's because we're talking about negative punishment. We're not just talking about the word escape or the word avoid.
No.
So the
So what was the example again? Can you guys repeat it to think about it more?
Well, escape in terms of a negative punishment is when you, I mean, I don't know, I'm just guessing, but I'm just wondering because the definitions don't seem to go along with, or the examples don't seem to go along with a punishment.
I don't recall the page, but when you're talking about escape and avoidance falls under negative punishment.
It is under if you're looking in Cooper, it is on page 337. Escape and avoidance are natural reactions to adverse simulations. Escape and avoidance behaviors take a wide variety of forms, which may be a greater problem than the target behavior being punished. Let's see. For example, a student who is abolishes repeatedly for sloppy work or coming to class unprepared may stop coming to class altogether. A person who lies, cheats, hides, or exhibits other undesirable behavior to avoid punishment.
Okay, so these are things to avoid punishment. They're not negative punishment.
But escape, but if you're thinking escaping, you are removing something that is negative. If it's decrease in the future, that's punishment. If it increases, that reinforcement.
Right.
I think this is negative reinforcement that we are talking about. We have two types of negative reinforcement. This is not negative punishment.
It says right here, later on page 337, escape and avoidance are side effects to punishment, like emotional and aggressive reaction can be minimized or preluded altogether. So their side effects are not, because you have it sitting over there under negative punishment, but it's not negative punishment. They're just, they're side effects of punishment.
Yeah, they are under negative reinforcement, actually. It's under the umbrella of negative reinforcement.
Okay, well, we will fix that. Thank you guys for correcting.
All right, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, negative
punishment.
Right.
Hold on 1 second, guys.
It's what we said earlier, response, cost, and timeout. Okay.
Okay. We can fix it. Thank you guys for correcting. Awesome. At least this is why we're all here, to get it, to bounce the thoughts off of each other.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we have our punishment procedures.
That was a great discussion, guys.
Yes. Thank you. By the way, we have our punishment procedures. We have response costs. And what are our two response costs?
I'm gonna turn it off right now.
Bonus and fine.
Yep, our bonus response cost and our direct fines. Okay, can anybody give examples for our bonus response costs?
That's pretty much, let's say the instructor, you typically have recess regardless. Let's say you have recess for 15 minutes, but the instructor decided to give you an extra 15-minute bonus. So it says if you don't act right, you can lose some of that extra 15 minutes that you were given.
Right, exactly. And our direct fines?
Isn't that like what you already have, like what you work for? Like if you happen to, let's say you work, for $40 and you get a ticket, and then you have to take, $20 from that.
It's like a traffic ticket.
Right.
Like a traffic ticket. Awesome.
Or parking.
Right.
I like to do that a lot where I live.
You like to run the traffic?
By the way, Jacklyn,
yes,
falls under negligence.
I'm sorry.
timeout.
I'm sorry, say that again. You cut out.
I'm sorry. I said response cost and timeout are the negative punishment that you were talking about earlier.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
These are negative punishment.
Okay. All right. And then now we have our timeout. We have two types of timeout. We have our non-exclusionary timeout and our exclusionary timeout. Can anybody just name our non-exclusionary ones?
So the acronym is IWAR. So I is in like ignore, or
Okay.
plain ignore is the first one. And then W is withdraw from positive activities.
Right.
The O is it something
Observation.
observation or contingent observation?
Right. And what else?
And then the R, which can't come to me.
Ribbon, timeout ribbon.
Yes.
There you go. I've never used a timeout ribbon, so I can't really explain it to you. So if anybody's used it and can explain it, please feel free.
From what I understand,
It's just when you have something.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Go. You can go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, if the children, whatever, have something on their arm, it means like a ribbon, reinforcement is available, but if it's off their arm, reinforcement, they can't earn reinforcement.
Yeah, they can't earn for that period of time.
Okay.
It'll specify like.
Okay. I've never used that, so I've never seen it, so that would be so new to me. So thank you guys for explaining that. And then we have our exclusionary timeout procedures. If anybody, go ahead, throw it out what it is.
It's the hallway timeout, room timeout, and what's the last one?
You got the room timeout, hallway timeout. You got one more.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna give it to you. It's our
partition
timeout.
Oh, yeah, petition, where you like block their vision.
Where you block their vision. Okay. So of course the room timeout, or the petition is where you block their vision. The hallway is they're gonna go out to the hallway, and then of course you have a timeout room, and that's when they go to, of course, another room. Years ago, example, the school I used to work with, they used to have what they called a removal room. That was considered a timeout room. Once students got in trouble in class, they were sent to removal. They had to sit there for 15 to 30 minutes, with either their homework assignment, or they just had to sit there with the proctor, and then they went back to class. So that's how I visualize a timeout room. But I know there's other ways to go to the timeout room. You can go to principal's office or another classroom or something of.
Right. I mean, any room that is not the classroom can be a timeout.
The classroom. Right. All right, guys, we're doing good. Okay, we got about a little over 5 minutes. So let me. Okay, the unwanted effects of punishment. Now, this is part of actually TASA C2, but I thought it was important to put it in here. So if anybody wants to read number 1 for me, feel free. We'll all read together. We can. I'll start. Caretakers will use punishment. That's a word here. For unwanted effects, they will use punishment either too little or too much. What do you guys think? Would they use it too little or too much?
Too much.
Too much. Good job. Okay. It is controlled, counter-controlled by.
It's because it reinforces the person providing the punishment. I don't know if that's where you're getting to there.
It's counter-controlled by the client if you have an unwanted effects. It has a conditional emotional response. people providing the punishment can become. What can we become if we provide punishment too much? Starts with an A.
Aversive.
Aversive.
Oh.
Clients can use punishment on others. It can also have a behavior what?
Contrast.
A behavior contrast. It models what type of behavior?
The challenging behavior.
Aggressive.
Negative behavior.
Unwanted behavior or undesired. And of course, it promotes escape or avoidance. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So D18, we're going to use extinction. And I forgot to put the page number here, so I apologize, guys. But there's a whole chapter on extinction in the Cooper book that you might want to look through. It's a procedure that occurs when a previous reinforced response is discontinued, and then behavior decreases in the future. So we have the immediate increase of the frequency of the response after removal. It's called a what?
Extinction burst.
Extinction burst. The burst is worse. That's what I've always been told. So.
Yes, it is.
That's how my teachers always said it. Okay. And then the reappearance of the behavior after it has diminished to a pre-reinforcement level or has stopped entirely.
Spontaneous recovery.
Spontaneous recovery. Great job, guys. Let's see. Okay. So we have unwanted effects of extinction, which again, this is part of your task list C3. I figured it was important to put it in here. We have, of course, we just talked about them, the extinction burst, spontaneous recovery, behavioral contrast, the emotionally induced aggression, escape and avoidance, and it does not, I meant to put does not teach what type of behavior.
Positive behavior?
Replacement behavior. Good job. Okay. You may see a blank in challenging behavior.
Increase.
Increase. And it's difficult to control the reinforcement for our clients. Okay.
Does anyone have an example of resistance to extinction? I always get confused.
It's pretty much you continue to engage in the behavior even though you put it on extinction.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, resistance. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Thank you.
All right, guys, we have less than a minute, so I would like to close this one out and start a new one.
It's gonna be the same link.
Same link. Yep. Okay. Same exact one. So I'm gonna close this one out, and we will start over. So I'll see you guys in a minute.
Alrighty.